Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Soulful Conversations. I'm Nicola McCarthy and I'm here with my co-host and husband, David.
Good evening, good day, good
Hello.
morning.
Hello.
Hello, even. Yeah,
We've had a few hiccups this evening, haven't we?
we
Not
have. Yeah,
blaming
yeah,
anybody or
yeah.
anything.
No, 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 not at all.
I blame it on Mercury retrograde.
Can do. Yeah, yeah. I prefer that than
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I actually thought it was going to be dark outside by the time we got started. Well, it looks like it is really on
Yeah,
your
that is where
screen.
I am. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Anyway, we've yeah, persevered
we have. Yeah, we're here. Right.
and yeah, sounds like it's all recording and okay. So yeah, well, what we talking about today then?
Well, we had a bit of an interesting weekend, haven't we? We've been looking at ley lines,
Mm,
haven't we?
we
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
And it's been a really good weekend actually. It's like
Mm,
been really chilled and
mm,
just yeah, going with the flow.
yeah.
And so yeah, so I suppose where to start? What's a ley line?
Oh, yeah. A ley line is a line of energy that's flowing through the earth near the surface, on the surface, depending on where it is. So, what is an energy line? It's an energy line of um, an unseen energy, and really a ley line's, well, you might equate them to like meridians around the planet. Ley line is I think it's a bit of a broad term in a way because it could come from could be many different reasons for a ley line. Originally, the leys were between ancient monuments. They were found. So, an ancient site maybe built a few thousand years ago. Um, People noticed there was like a line of sight between some of them. And when dowsing these, they found there was a line of unseen energy between them. And well, it really built from there. Looking at different sacred sites around the country, they found more of these lines going in different directions. And there are, well, probably what I'd say smaller ones in size, and there are larger ones and there are really large ones in size, like the dragon lines that go round the planet and go through, well, Glastonbury in England, a place where we like to go, don't we? And that's a dragon line that goes around the world. And yeah, so where do they end? Where they stop? Sometimes they can be short, sometimes they can be quite long, like going around the world. Sometimes until they come to another junction of, well, it's like a nexus point, really, like where they all join together or they all come together, like power points, power grids. And really with the ancient sites, um, the question is, were they put on special places where the people felt the energy was highly charged for some reason, or did the charging of them come by putting the stones there? My own feeling is there's some of both in it, but more often than not, they were like special places in the land which were no energy centers, which maybe you would go at certain times of the year or whatever, you'd go and they'd feel fully charged. You'd come away feeling a buzz in the air.
So just backtracking a little bit,
Mhm.
these energy lines, so you can only find them by sensing them.
Yes, sensing them in some way. And, some people can see them.
Mm,
Sometimes you can feel them.
mm,
So, um, and the one we were investigating this weekend was one that felt when a few months ago when I walked through it. And so, yeah, so I can feel them and some people can feel them. Some people can see the energy. Really these unseen energies are just out of our visible spectrum range. That's if they've got an electromagnetic element, then they'll be in the electromagnetic spectrum. And the visible spectrum that we can see, the light is such a small, range in a vastness of electromagnetic wavelengths.
Mm.
So
But they don't move. They're like they've been there
they're
for.
fairly fixed. The
Mm,
energy levels can change in them. They
mm.
can carry all sorts of energy, positive or negative.
So they carry energy along the line.
Yeah, but it's like a meridian line in the body, like an acupuncture line in the body,
Mm,
where, you know, the acupuncture meridian lines in the body, they're fed by earth energy. Some the energy rises through the body along the meridians, and they're fed by, celestial energy, whether it's the sun or the stars, and the energy flows down along meridians as well. It's different meridians. And it's like a flow of that energy around the body, a downward flow and an upward flow around the body. And where these energies, meridians mix and combine, and where they come together, then you can get like a vortices of energy, a vortex of energy. And this is really where the chakras are, and the chakra points being a vortex of energy where the energy lines are coming together and crossing. So
So you
in
get the chakra points also
on the
um, on the world.
yeah, so like
Yeah,
Glastonbury is the heart chakra.
heart chakra of the world.
World, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a very like an incredibly energetic place. I mean, I think most people that live there, you're drawn there for a reason.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I think you got to be made of something to kind of stay there.
So yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
because it really is. I mean, it's like the heart energy. It's kind of very, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, amazing. So yeah, this is something that you've been interested in for many, many years.
Many, many, many,
Um,
many, many years. I was just
mm,
thinking about it earlier today that like it's probably when I was about, I don't know, 8 or 9 or something like that.
yeah, and
Maybe.
and it's something that you just keep coming back to.
Mm. Keep coming back to every now and then. I come back to, I mean, it's part of the work I do when I check people's homes. I check for ley lines and different energy lines.
Yeah, but it's just
Yeah.
actually going off on a walk recently,
Yeah,
and you actually started to spot things on the earth that didn't make sense or
that's right.
did
Yeah.
make sense
Did, yeah.
that you didn't know it hadn't didn't appear to have been documented.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I mean, I know what you're like. Once you've got an idea, it's like you just research and
Yeah.
really try and work it out. So what did you see on that walk,
Yeah.
back in the winter time?
Couple of little mounds.
Mounds.
A couple of, I saw there was a couple of mounds, and as I went went coming up to one of the mounds from one of the direction from the other was away when I was went to the mounds and came back, and I was coming up towards one of the mounds, and then felt that the feeling that I get when I'm on a ley line,
Mm,
which is a bit difficult to describe,
mm.
but it's
It's
energetic,
powerful.
it's powerful, but it's subtle at the same time,
Yeah.
like really strange. So yes, I felt that, and I thought, oh wow, well, this is a ley. Where is this? Where is this? So therefore, these mounds are more than what it says they are on the map. Even didn't say anything so much. So I thought, okay. Anyway, so I just parked that, and then it was interesting. Then I was thinking, I thought, I'll go for a walk. I thought, oh, I know, maybe we can go for a walk and check out those, the ley line there, see where the ley line goes. So I do my thing, I get a map and I start to douse over the map and feel the ley line, feel where it goes, and then the whole path lit up, and then in my mind, and yeah, so it starts. Well, it doesn't know if it starts, but the nexus it came from, the crossover point where this came from is just out at sea. And I thought it's pointing to something out at sea. Well, it's pointing to something probably about 500 meters out to sea. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Then I did a bit more research and found out there was a hill fort, an ancient hill fort on the top of the cliffs nearby where we are. And it's only a fraction of it left. And the fraction of it left is probably, I don't
Because the
know, it's
rest of
probably
it's
about,
fallen into the sea.
yeah, it's probably about 300 meters, um, about 300 meters wide,
Yeah.
about 300 meters wide by 200 meters. And then it disappears into the sea. And this is, most hill forts follow the shape of a hill, and maybe they're like, I don't know, would you say like pointy
Way.
shape at both, like a wave shape, yeah, often at both ends, like a wave shape. And this is really just the beginning of 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 that is still on the land. So therefore, I figured, gosh, that where this ley line is pointing to is probably where the fort was at one time, and whether within that fort there was something more ancient energy there. Yeah, so something there which created the line or harnessed the line. So that was interesting. Anyway, so then I just, well, got carried away. And then I looked where the line went. And I got how long the line was. It was 82 miles. So I plotted the 82 miles along the line.
This was
And
after our walk yesterday.
this was after our walk yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, shall we
Yeah.
talk about the walk?
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah.
what
Sorry, it's getting
happened?
carried away.
Yeah, because this was before we knew any of
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got.
stuff. It was just
So, so we went there and we really were clearing the energy of the line.
mm.
So just cleansing the line, taking the negative dark energies from the line. Because
So just backtracking again.
yeah,
So what would be like a dark energy on a ley line? I mean, why would it attract dark energy for a start?
well,
What
the
what
majority of them do. They're just so they're often they're earth energy
Mhm.
focused in a direction. And the earth energy has, collects its energy from its environment. And, that's humans, and humans get in the way. So you can affect a ley by lots of things, by where it flows through, you know, by the mass consciousness of the people along the line. And all those will be putting energies into that inert energy, because it'd be like an inert energy before, often supportive. But when it's collects the negative energies, then it's draining of energy.
So what would be a negative energy? How could you make a ley negative? Like what does it
Well, how can you do that? So, like, okay, so it could be you could go back and
a
say
war?
many of the leys, many of the sacred sites were taken and removed by the church as the church wanted more power when it came into the country. Maybe for some noble reasons for some people, but others probably a bit more of an evil reason, a darkness reason. So, often the circles were taken apart, dismantled. Stones would then go to build a church on that site. Maybe then in that church, they might have relics of the belief, religion, understanding before the church was built, whether it be the green man or the understanding of that would be, as you see that in some churches, to draw in the local people and to get them to come inside. Yeah. But actually behind that, often there are nefarious, dark reasons. Even that is a manipulation. And then people realize they are power centers. So if you can harness that power for your own ill-gotten gains, your own ego, whatever that is, and that's believed to have been done and has been done by certain groups over years, certain religious sects, societies, maybe whether Masonic in origin or whatever, maybe even a little bit by the Templars or in the latter days, or yeah, and probably, by Satanists.
Mm.
So the people that really want to take control of other people,
Mhm.
the people that have created the myth, the spells around us now that entrap us, the programming that's trapped us for many, many generations, with the words that they use to trap us, with there's many ways that you can be trapped in the spell, and your words maligned in a way. So you think you're using a wonderful word, but actually it's got a hidden meaning, which feeds like a darkness in some way. So this is really then, I suppose, taking it onto the next level, then in some of the places that would then be on these lines, ley lines, energy lines, sacred places, if dark practices were done in them at certain times of the year, the solstices and the equinoxes, particularly where there's a time there where people understood that there was a veil thinning between the worlds. And, a veil thinning is like, almost seeing the next, another dimension or connecting to it. And if at many of these places you might do sacrifices, many places there might be an altar stone, like the one they've been recently talking about, Stonehenge, which apparently has come from near the Orkneys somewhere. These will carry their own energy, and sacrifice is done. And if the sacrifice, costs a life, that can make a dimensional. That's a time really when somebody dies. The between the worlds disappears for a second. There's a dimensional shift there. So if you could anchor into that at that time and call in something you want to come in that will give you power, almost of a satanic level, a dark level, calling in something that you've got not a clue about what it might be and what it could do, then these things could come through and, infiltrate you in whatever ways and infiltrate the line. And then the energy will collect there, the energy will flood out from that zone, even though the dimension may be only open for a short time. And maybe the being that's been called in doesn't want to be here, doesn't want to come here, has been wrenched here for whatever reason. That's a whole new story, but it does create a lot of negative energy. Then imagine then if you want to support that negative energy, you want more of the negative energy, then, well, what else might you put there? Anything to do with death and misery. It's what they call like a loose energy, really with all the stuff of the last few years, the more you can raise the negative energy levels, the fear, the anger, the grief, the more you can hype them up, then the more that feeds into this loose energy that feeds the darkness, that lowers the energy of the mass consciousness, lowers the vibration. So, we can't raise ourselves up, we can't ascend in this lifetime. And that's really what I see all this as being about a battle between the darkness and the light, and about, now's the time when we can turn away the darkness. We've got more light energy coming in, and we're seeing the darkness, which we never would have seen before. We've seen so much more than we can see before.
And like you say, I mean, this is all, I mean, I kind of knew a little bit about it, but it's not anything that I've ever really wanted to know about.
Well, you don't really want to know about
No,
it. It's just
but
company, but
it's become like in plain sight.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
It's come to me through various different people talking about it, seeing it, and this is what happens when when the light shines on the darkness. It's
Mm,
like you're not looking for it, you're not searching for it, it's just there. And you find out about it, and it's like a bit of a wake up, you
mm,
know? You're you're seeing the truth of
mm.
what's actually happening around the world. And like you say, it's something that's been there for eons, for
Yeah.
thousands of
The
years.
more they can repress the average population, then that 0.001% that's trying to control you and take everything you've got, and obviously would sell their soul, shall we say, in the process to get what they want
Mm,
in this life.
mm,
Um,
mm.
yeah,
And like
well,
you say, this so these energy lines, these ley lines that actually hold positive energy and negative energy.
yeah.
So it really depends, what's happened on a certain site. So would
Well, it's
things like
what's gone into feed it over the time, over years, really.
so
Yeah.
would things like, a battleground, for instance, or a
Well, again,
murder,
that's
or
not going to put anything positive in, is it? You can always
Mhm.
feel battlegrounds when you go.
Yeah.
You can feel where people have been murdered as well. You can feel and sense this stuff. And I know
Mm,
you do that when you start then with your light language, when you know something's gone on somewhere. You feel, and
mm,
your light language just bursts out of you.
mm,
And then we look back and we find out there's been an accident there or something there.
mm, mm.
So, when those times gone and that those places need healing, then we can start to give them healing now. We can give them healing more now than we can before. And as more people are aware of this, then I implore more people to give more healing out, and
So I mean, these
raise their
lines
vibration.
obviously they go through people's homes. What
Yeah.
what what I mean, if you're living,
It depends on the energy coming
actually
through it, but
lived
quite
on a ley
of,
line, haven't we?
often some can be positive.
Yeah.
There's not many I've found that are
Mm,
positive.
mm.
And generally after the healing, then they are positive. Um, and you can nudge them a little bit. Um, you can't move them too far anyway. Um, so you can move them a little bit around and out of the way,
So I
depending
mean,
on
we
where.
talk about a little bit more about yeah,
But
homes
but
that we've
the
lived in. But there was one of the homes that we lived in that we were there for 7 months. We
yeah,
bought the house. We lived there just for 7 months. I mean, so, and then we sold and we were out of there. Um, because the energy there was, yeah,
just
insane.
dark and insane. Yeah,
It was dark. It
yeah.
was, at the time, you know, you were a healer, but you didn't know about any of this
No,
stuff.
no idea. No.
And you didn't know that it could be, we did actually have healers that came round, but I think it was above anything that they were able to actually do.
Mm.
I think, they obviously had some effect on it, but it was really heavy, really, really heavy. And that was on a ley line, wasn't it?
Absolutely on the ley line. Yeah.
And, you know, as you say, churches are very much, you know,
Well, often, yeah, often they are. Yeah.
and
Um,
this was a very old house. It was the oldest house in the village.
mm,
Um, how old was it? 500 years?
plus.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Plus. Yeah. It's a bit
really ancient
older.
house,
Yeah.
and yeah, very, very
Yeah.
dark.
But
So, so these, so you can change the atmosphere in the home.
yeah,
They're on a ley line, and you can like you can take, but you can't shift the ley
you
line.
shift it a little, you can shift it a little depending on the ley line.
Yeah,
If it's a big one, then I've not tried to do a really big one. Small ones I can shift.
but you can change the energy of
So
the ley
yeah, you clear the energy out of it.
line,
So it's like yeah, it's clearing the energy out. It's clearing the energy out, changing the energy and putting good energy back in.
which is what
And
we did yesterday.
which is what we did yesterday. Yes, we did.
So what did we
Yeah.
do? It was like I loved it.
Well, you went up and you played your bowls.
Mm. Well, we got there,
Yeah.
and um, you've got your dowsing rods,
Mhm.
and it's like such an adventure. I was like, it was such a gorgeous day as well. Sun was shining, blue sky, like perfect. And yeah, you had your dowsing rods, and I just felt, and I knew the second that we were on that line. Like I could feel it, like whole body could feel it. Um, so you change the energy with your healing and your
Mhm.
intention. And I took those two bowls there,
Mhm.
which are really interesting bowls actually. These were the first two bowls that I ever, or that we ever bought. Well, we bought those three. This is weird pointing to them. Um, if you're not watching on YouTube, then you have no idea what I'm talking about. But these are yeah. I mean, at the time that I bought these bowls, I was working very much with, or still am, with Saint Germain, Saint Germain, Saint Germain, and he has. I mean, that energy is so transmuting and so powerful and like just incredible. And he is the he holds the violet flame. And I had, unbeknown to me, I mean, I had no idea. I literally just saw these bowls, fell in love with them, um, played them together. And this one is Saint Germain, and this one is the Violet Flame. And so, yeah, so I thought, wow, wonderful. Let's take them and just see what happens. So, yeah, played the bowls and did some decrees, and um, it was it
Yeah.
was
And I
powerful.
did my stuff and the healing, and yeah, so it felt very, very powerful. It felt very good when we left. It felt very clear when we left.
Mm.
And yeah, then I sort of felt where the line was going and uh and the direction of it. And I thought, oh yeah, that's where it's going. So I sort of got a plot of the direction of the line. And then when I got back home, I got a map out and looked at the map. Then I got how long the line was, which was 82 miles long. Measured
So,
the 82
you got that literally just came into your head.
just come. Yeah,
Mm.
just comes. Yeah, I know when it's me and I know when it's comes. Yeah. So and then I looked at just drew the line and then I thought, oh, that's interesting. It goes through that village where Nicola Nicola was born.
Mm.
And then when we done the healing and we uh, left the line, we were walking away, and you were completely drained, weren't you?
I was just absolutely zapped.
Absolutely zapped.
And I didn't compute it. I didn't actually, it made no sense to me at all why I
Mm,
felt like this, because we'd just eaten, it wasn't like blood sugar. I had just been sitting down playing bowls, we weren't on like this massive trek. And yeah, I just said to you, didn't I? I just want to go and lie down. And
mm.
then you said to me, come on, just keep walking, walk down a bit, walk down here, walk down here. And then you said to me, how do you feel now? And I just said, I'm fine. Because I actually wanted to turn around and go back to the car. And you wanted to carry on and do like a big long walk. um, and yeah, it was the ley line.
Yeah.
Even though I'd put in loads of protection, obviously, and really,
Mm.
really put in lots and lots of protection. But yeah, there was some really interesting things that happened though, because also, I mean, the purpose of doing this, what is the purpose of clearing ley lines?
Purpose of clearing ley lines is as the energy is rising, the ley lines are going to be really important to distribute that rising energy. And if they're pure and clear and clean, they're going to give out that pure and clean energy and really
It's
help
healing. It's a
help it's
healing
healing, and it's help to raise our energy, help to raise the energy of the people
of
and the planet,
man
and
of the
move
planet
away
and
from all this
mankind. Yeah,
darkness and nonsense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because um, as we started this adventure, I was making some voice notes, and obviously, usually I make my voice notes and at home, and it comes up, doesn't it, with your address at the top of the voice note.
Mhm.
And I was like stunned because I looked down at my voice note and it said free man, free man.
Yeah, which is really what it's about.
And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's like, how cool is that? I mean, that's, obviously,
That was in the middle of a field.
coincidence
And
in
that
the
was
middle of
in
a
the
field.
middle of a field, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
just like bizarre.
yeah.
So yeah, that was really cool,
Mm,
really cool.
mm.
And yeah, really, really enjoyed it. And we came home.
And then I thought, right, let's see where this goes.
So
So,
just have to ignore, full moon, barking dog,
all my, yeah, yeah, yeah.
muzzle.
So, so then I, yeah, got the maps out. I saw the direction when I was there. I got a plot of the direction on the compass that the line was flowing. And so I knew where I was, and I could plot the direction. And from there, I got that it was 82 miles long, and I plotted it to the end to 82 miles, and it finished in a place, Aylesbury in Buckinghamshire, which I've never been to. And then I just looked at where it went, and it went through a little village, which was actually where you used to live. And then it went through Lewes Castle. It actually went right through Lewes Castle, which was very interesting. That's quite a sight. And then it went on to a town called Haywards Heath, through what was a mental hospital. It was a big mental
And
hospital,
asylum. It's,
island. It
it's
was
a
an
very
asylum.
well known place. Yeah.
And it was really interesting because you lived, one of your houses was by the asylum
Right
before,
next to the asylum.
before I met you, right
Yeah.
next to the asylum.
Yep. I used to, I used to take the children because it was all boarded up and closed down. And they were actually, I can't even believe they made the asylum. They converted it into luxury flats. Can you imagine?
That's like,
And I used to take the children to the grounds because obviously it was all derelict and boarded up. with big fences all the way around. And I remember taking the children there to learn to cycle, on their bikes when they were little. And I was on my bike and we were just cycling along, and I have never, I mean, I'm a medium. I shouldn't ever, but I was really spooked. The energy there was just off the scale, and the railings just all of a sudden just started going like, get out of here, leave. And I just pedaled all the way home. Come on, kids. Yeah, really, really not
Yeah,
nice.
it's a very dark place.
Yeah.
And of course, these places were often run and put there. It was actually quite a prominent place. This place was put. It's a view over hills and fields, and almost quite nice in a way, you might say, the view, but the building and the energy was terrible. And then, funny enough, we lived very near there a few years later in a place very, very near a wood called Asylum Woods. I mean, why would we want to move there? What was that about? That's before we got into doing what we're doing, before we understood the energies that are out there. Still bizarre. Anyway, then I plotted it. It went through, but actually, actually thinking about it, often those places are put on ley lines, because that's a real feeding in of dark energy into a ley. And now it's a big hospital there as well, adjacent to it. And hospitals are so full of darkness and death and everything.
Yeah.
They really do pump a lot of negative energy out from them. But I don't get me started on hospitals and things. So then the line went on upwards, and then I shown you where the line went, and then I remember you mentioning one of the places you lived, and it went through another place you used to live in Buckinghamshire.
Yeah.
And I thought, what are the chances of that? Well, there are no chances of that.
It's just unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. When you literally, you had the line there, and I was like, I lived there, I lived there, I lived there, I lived there, I lived, and now here. Like, we're not actually on the line, but we're
not far from it.
We are really not far. So that would be
half mile, yeah.
That would be, I mean, I know, I am a serial mover. So
yeah, but the chances of that, and the funny thing is the line finished just after really where you lived.
Yeah.
Which was really bizarre.
So at the beginning
when I got that
and at the end there. Yeah. Well, I worked at the end of the line. I lived on it and I worked on it.
So yeah, so obviously there's a connection. I've not actually got my head around that because this is new. So I'm going to get my head around
hot off the press.
Yeah, and understand it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of so the dark energy, comes from often what is on the line. If you think around Stonehenge, a great sacred centre which they've want to build a road under, or had wanted to for a long time, and what would that do to the land? And the energy coming up from the land would malign it, it would destroy it, it would maybe make it more darker, who knows? Around that, it's all military. It's all army, it's all war, fighting. It's not love, peace and harmony.
Yeah, I mean, as you drive towards Stonehenge, it's like, I don't know, there's no, as an energy worker, if you feel energy, I can't equate it to anywhere else that I've ever been. It's like this empty. It's like a void. It's like, it feels like empty space. Like it's been blitzed, like that energy's been blitzed. And then you get into Stonehenge and it's like, I mean, that's a real power spot. And I mean, who knows what it was built for, what its purpose was, for good. But who knows? I mean, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know, yeah,
So
really.
yeah, so so these dark energies then flood into the lines, and then the fear they put into society that moves out and affects everybody, and then that goes into the line too. So if the lines are going through cities, they'll pick up a lot of negative stuff, and then who knows how the EMFs from 4G, 5G, Wi-Fi, mobiles, whatever affect the lines too, because they will.
So
So
on
so
a more positive note,
yeah,
what can we do to change the energy of the lines?
put more love out into the world. Raise your own vibration,
Yeah.
turn your back on all the nonsense, and just focus on yourself and be happy. Being as happy as you can. Raising more joy in your body. And then when you can, just put that light out into the world. Send healing out into the world. Send love out into the world. Not
That's
fear
right. I mean, you
and
don't have to be a healer to do that.
no, you don't. No.
Everybody, can.
People feel that. You feel that off somebody. If somebody's pushing that energy out, you feel that off them.
Mm,
Intuitively, you feel that.
mm,
As like as you feel when somebody's dark, you just intuitively feel it.
mm.
And yeah, so I keep away from those dark places, really. And yeah, just keep your energy as high as you can. Definitely, absolutely important. And yeah, and really, I'd love more people to go out and heal lays and heal the land. And I mean, that's really what we need. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm.
Interesting subject.
It
And
is, yeah, yeah, and it's something you don't want to look into because the darkness, whether it's a dark sort of witchcraft or it's not really witchcraft. It's it's a demonic worship or the demonic worships where people are doing things for their own ego, for their own good, for their own gain. And of course now, you know, and the children and sacrifices because we don't want to go into that now. But of course, all that energy, if that's done near these lines, that's
yeah,
it's terrible as
yeah,
well.
all
So
sorts
yeah.
of good.
So the more we can clear the energy away, which is what I want to do, is just keep clearing these lines wherever I find them, the whole course, and then just keep going back in and checking and keeping them clear. And that's you're doing, doing what I can do really. So yeah.
Okay, on that note,
On that note, yeah. Oh, sorry, but otherwise, keep your energy up,
yeah,
positive. Yeah. Don't listen to all the nonsense that's going on about whatever's going to happen because it might never happen. Just keep positive. The old thing, wasn't it? Ignorance is bliss.
yeah,
In many
yeah.
ways, and you're putting that bliss out into the world.
Mm.
You are doing something.
Every thought,
Yeah. You get
and
angry and you
intention
want to fight somebody or hit somebody.
makes,
That's putting that out into the world.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's just perpetuating the system
Mm.
that really that darkness wants perpetuated.
Yeah.
So just don't give it anything. Just give it love.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Well,
Right.
thank you.
Right. Lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll come back next week and tell you we might have found the answer.
Yeah. If I find the answer, I'll let you know. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Figure that one out. Yeah.
Well, have a fantastic week wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and catch you next time.
Yeah. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye for now.